You guys, good afternoon. My name's John Young with Esri. I'm joined by my colleague Ian Feathers. And we just want to thank you this afternoon for joining us for an exploration, even a journey, into the world of using ArcGIS for property and facility management. And I think you saw the title was Facilities and Indoors, and we're certainly going to cover all aspects of that. But when it comes to the use case, this is what we're really talking about. So, you know, Esri and Esri's partner community have been working to solve challenges in what we would call property, workplace, and facilities management for about 10 years. We started this in our federal practice, and now we do so across all of Esri's vertical markets, including a lot of corporate or commercial. And in fact, that'll be a lot of the focus that we have today. So when I say that we focus on it, I mean everything from the foundational data models all the way up to integrating with other systems of record in the 2D and 3D visualization and the real workflow, the real tools that you need to improve your business. As you might imagine, we support key business objectives in this space. So when we break these out, we break them out into 3 different categories. Okay, so you got planning, strategic planning. In other words, we're talking about tying the actual facility plan to the overall corporate strategy. I think that's true for a lot of folks in their different organizations, whether they be a corporate entity or a hospital or a university and the like. We provide solutions and support the workflow of those that are doing things in workplace management, as well as those in facilities operations. And I think if you look across these, you'll see that what we're talking about is delivering value in terms of increasing revenue, maximizing investment, reducing cost efficiencies, as well as mitigating risk. Okay? So understand that those are some key objectives that we want to support, or that we do support. Now, really, why are we here? And what are the benefits? First and foremost, we are all about improving the speed of business, right? Getting the information, getting the tools to the folks that need them very quickly. The other piece is improving the whole ability to share, collaborate, disseminate this information, again, very quickly to the organization. Improving the speed of business, they tie together. Taking advantage of the rich location analysis that Esri provides to help drive decision making in the organization. And then this one, which is very in particular to the corporate world, although I think really any business is, I think we're all trying to retain and recruit top talent. Right? And that really channels into this whole business of either locating the right place to actually where you want to put a business, all the way down to providing a really wonderful place to work, or the workplace environment. Now, one of the key things that we want to emphasize is that this is, yes, a mapping platform for these kinds of use cases, but really it's all about providing a location strategy, the practice of property and facility management, right? In other words, enabling the ability for the organization to discover and make use of the maps and apps anytime, anywhere, any place. We want to make sure that at multiple levels, right, across all these different patterns and workflows, folks are able to achieve these efficiencies. And so it's everything from, this says constituent, in our world it's occupant or owner, right, engagement, could be visitor engagement, to our executives, right? Support for those guys, as well as inspections and audits in the field, to analytics, robust location analytics, right? That can support those key business use cases that we mentioned just a minute ago, as well as probably one of the most important factors and reasons why a lot of you are sitting here, which is this whole location data management, meaning we're seeing data flying at us from all different directions. Is there an integrating platform? Is there a way to really tie all this together and bring it to life? Well, we're here to talk about, yes, that's ArcGIS as a mapping platform, and yes, a location strategy is at the core of this. When we wrap that all together, we know that we want to have a system of engagement. That's what's going to help us improve the speed of business across your organization. Do some of y'all's organizations look like this? Show of hands. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe you're taking this back to this part of your organization where A, they're having to tie to those enterprise systems. B, they're then wanting to put these really helpful information products out into key folks like your strategic planners, workplace managers, facility operators, and the like. All right, well, let's get to the heart of the matter on this. What we want to do now is actually take a journey, right? Take a journey through the life of those folks that we just talked about and show how a location strategy, right, location enablement, can benefit the organization. I'm John. I'm with ASR. ASR is a high-tech HR solutions provider to the banking and insurance industry. The products and services that ASR provides and the delivery and the development of these products is completed by our workforce of over 10,000 folks located in offices around the world. At ASR, it's important that we recruit and we retain top talent in the industry. Like many of you, our employees are an absolute vital part of our success. And if there's one thing that we've learned at ASR, it's that location and a location strategy for our real estate and workplace services division is a critical part of accomplishing these goals. The challenge for us boils down to really two things. Number one, changing expectations. Number two, the speed of business. We can no longer settle for the blueprints in the basement. We can no longer settle for spreadsheets. We can no longer settle for a collection of design files sitting on our local hard drive. Managing and optimizing our workplaces should be as easy as playing a video game. Before I reveal too much though, let's go ahead and share our story about how ArcGIS is helping to transform our business. So now I'm Joe, right? So Joe is this guy, and he's me, right? So I'm regularly onboarding new folks, right? It's my job to make sure that our workforce is productive as possible, as quickly as possible. I'm here sitting down with a group of new staff that I've just onboarded. We're gonna go ahead and use a new app that's been created by Dan. I'm pretty psyched because this one's in 3D. I have one in 2D as well. The first thing I'm gonna do is find the location of our next meeting. Now the new staff don't know this. They're just concerned that we gotta worry about where we're going next. No big deal. Take out the app, I go search for my room, I go ahead and say, look, I want a route that uses elevators because I've got somebody that's just twisted their ankle, right? So we need to account for that. And then I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna say, okay, I'm actually sitting over here in building, where am I? Building Q, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and perform my route.
And you said you needed an elevator, right? Let's do that.
So, you know, you guys, this is awesome, right? I mean, very quickly and easily, I now have a route that I can use to take our folks on to the next meeting of the day, and they're psyched. We didn't even have to use any mental bandwidth on this. At ASR, we strive to use workplace productivity tools just like this one to put part of those precious 1,440 minutes we have in our day back in the hands of our staff. And another key thing is, let's just go ahead and eliminate unnecessary stress at the same time. Well, I mentioned it earlier. How did all this get started? Well, our GIS professional, Dan, discovered ArcGIS. Dan, let's turn it over to you.
All right. Thanks, Joe. So, back in the beginning, it wasn't always this easy. You remember the whole conversation we had about blueprints in the basement, these static PDF documents, spreadsheets, all these things that really weren't all dynamic in nature. Well, ArcGIS as a system provides us all the tools that we need to eliminate the hassle of dealing with those documents. The last thing that I need on a day-to-day basis as an IT or GIS professional is to stay later than I have to at the end of the day, scanning in documents, manually digitizing. All that's a way of the past. Now, ArcGIS gives us automated tools to help make this easier. So as you can see here in ArcGIS Pro, I have floor plans and a 3D model of a building on campus. And for the sake of time, I'm going to show you a video that runs through this process. Ultimately, it takes about 1 minute per floor per building. So we have tools that help us funnel this into the local government information model. And as you can see here, I can just directly input my CAD file. It reads all the attributes. I can point it to the correct data model, and we're off to the races. So what does that look like? Now, as mentioned, the speed at which we get this done is crucial for our operation. The longer that it takes me to do my job, the longer that it takes everyone else in the organization to finish their job as well. So these automated tools have really streamlined everything that we do at ASR. So as you can see here, I've opened the tool, I've assigned the data, I'm assigning a spatial reference, I'm telling it which geodatabase that it needs to go to, and the tool runs. And so as the end result, In ArcGIS Pro, now I can visualize all this in 2D or 3D. With that said, now that this is finished, I need to put an app in our organization so that our workspace auditor, Jill, can conduct her daily workflow as well. So with that said, I'm going to turn it back over to Jill.
Hey, thanks a lot, Dan. All right, so I'm Jill with our Workplace Management Group, and I'm going to be doing a space audit today. In the past, I used to use a spreadsheet and a clipboard. Dan now provides these fantastic tools that I have at my disposal to be able to conduct my audits. And fortunately, I have this group, right, that I can go to grab a map to use. This may be on my laptop, but in some cases, this may actually be on an iPad, right? So what I want to do is go ahead and start an audit with my iPad app. And as you might imagine, it's very important at ASR to make sure that our occupancy and our condition information is always up to speed and readily available. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this app, and today I'm going to go ahead and go over to our campus to Building O to conduct an audit. So I go in, I open up my collector app, I've chosen a web map for the spaces on my campus. This happens to be, Building O. I'm going to zoom in and somebody tell me if this is, okay, can you guys see that? And all I really want to do is go ahead and conduct my audit. Now I'm on the second floor. I noticed that there's a space that's vacant that is occupied that should be vacant. This is probably a result of the last reorganization that took place a week ago, and it just didn't get updated. So I'm just going to tap on this space. I'm going to choose to edit that. I'm going to cruise down here and make sure I assign it an office vacant status. I need to make sure I click update. And maybe I didn't select the right thing. That's all right. I've been meaning to get new glasses anyway. Let's see here. So done. Oh, there we go.
Good job,
I don't think I
Jill.
tapped the right button the first time. Okay, so just like that, I've updated that information. But now at the same time, I might notice, look, there's a network drop that's missing. So I'm just going to hold my finger down, and I'm going to go ahead and note real quick in my audit the date, and go in and type network drop. Here. Done. Submit. Update sent, and we're off. Now that was easy, right? Yeah? No big deal. And I can continue my audit. I can continue grabbing information. I think, the idea here is that you can see that my changes now can be automatically reflected back in things like my space occupancy viewer. All the data is tied together. Basically, the advantage is tying back to my enterprise system. Okay, as mentioned earlier, ASR is a company that's growing very quickly over the next 5 years. With these new work audit tools, we can quickly complete our job and inform folks like our workplace management folks like Joe, as well as our strategic planners and our executives that need this ready access to this kind of status information. So let's go back to our executives. Back to John. And so my job at ASR is, I didn't explain what that was earlier, is that I'm the vice president of our real estate and workplace services organization. It's important for me and the executives in our organization to have ready access to the performance metrics, right, for our portfolio. So the key thing here, you guys, if you note, right, so it's not only having the portfolio viewer, but the changes that people like Jill just made are already available in my broader portfolio view. This information just rolls right up. So I can take something like a global portfolio dashboard. When I look at my map today, I notice that here in Southern California, if we could zoom in on that really quick, that one of my locations is an orange status. Now, I'm not typically worried about this, but this happens to be my biggest campus. And I don't know, this could be the case because demand for space is being exceeded by our new hires. I'm not normally worried about it because it is the biggest campus, but we just made an unplanned decision today. Our firm decided to acquire a new business, right? To stay competitive in the market, to hit our revenue targets, sometimes we have to purchase new companies. Well, we just did that. This fine gentleman right here is part of that company. The new company has 1,000 staff, 1,000 employees. We're going to need to absorb these folks into our organization. We're also going to need to evaluate options to either build or to buy new in one of two cities, either Portland or Redlands. The other thing I can do as an executive when I have a decision like this is to drill down a little bit further into a campus. So I'm going to use another dashboard to do that really quick because like I said, I'm a little concerned. I want to take a look to see if we're really going to have a challenge on our hands. And immediately when I do that, I can see that we are. So fortunately, I have a strategic planner in our organization named Ian, and I'm going to go ahead and assign him a task to take a look at this unplanned acquisition. Ian?
All right, thanks, John. So I'm the strategic planner for ASR, and I always have my work cut out for me. Excuse me here, I'll get to the right place. Now, one of the greatest challenges about my job is that I have to accommodate our immediate business needs, such as this recent acquisition that our executives had just told you about, but also we have future growth plans. And more than 1,000 people per year, that's a lot to accommodate. So my job is important because ultimately if we can't accommodate the workforce, then we can't accomplish our revenue goals. Previously, this took 1 to 2 years of planning to accomplish. Now, it's important to recognize, remember the whole conversation we had about blueprints, spreadsheets, static PDF documents, etc. That was the challenge. I had to compile all that information and then turn that into something legible for our executives to actually use and make decisions with. So now, ArcGIS provides me a lot of different tools to evaluate all the assessments that I need to put in front of the executive board so that we can not only tackle this immediate growth, but also tackle the future growth plans as well. So there are many built-in templates that I can use to help organize all this data. It's a lot of information to process. And this is just a basic compare analysis viewer where I take my web maps, put them in one spot, and begin to evaluate the cards that I've been dealt. So as mentioned, I don't want to have to stay any longer than I have to. So here I can look at the Portland acquisition. I can also look at redesign options for our current campus, potential growth sites, but then also pull in the web maps that run our dashboards to give me a current real-time status of what's going on. So now I use other tools to help deliver the message to the executive board because let's face it, the decisions they make impact my job. So now I'm going to show you that as well. This is a story map journal, and I use this to help provide all these options to the executive board. So let's take a deeper look at the Portland acquisition. So this is the current office. There are about 765 employees that reside there. There's 230 more, though, at other locations throughout the U.S. that we need to accommodate. So unfortunately, expanding in Portland right now is a real chore. Real estate, good real estate, within our target demographic, it's hard to obtain. So I've evaluated all the options in Portland that would meet the needs for the additional 230 in order for us to expand. Unfortunately, the only site available is about 7.5 miles away from the current office in Portland. It's going to cost $57.5 million for us to retrofit this to accommodate the new employees and take another 6 to 8 months. So this is a no option. Now, let's go ahead and think about accommodating these employees at our headquarters. So there are 230 that I need to accommodate. I know that I have a total of around 640 vacancies, but there are other options on the table here. So we know that some buildings have more work orders than others. It's going to take more time to accommodate existing maintenance requests along with a redesign to accommodate these employees. I know that between Building M and Building O, that Building O is going to work. It's already in need of a space optimization retrofit. So what does that mean? Well, it's basically two birds with one stone, all right? We're going to increase the floor plan density to around 100 square feet per employee. That's going to cost us around $200 per square foot. We can do this for 2 floors and 2 wings. It'll accommodate 240 additional employees. It's only going to cost around $5 million, and it's only going to take 2 months to complete. So this is our best short-term option for those additional employees outside of the acquisition. But what about the future, right? We still have 1,000 more employees the next year. So I'm going to have to crunch some numbers here. I'm going to have to do some spatial analysis. So I've looked at our current headquarters and I've identified several sites that meet the criteria. I evaluate all these sites based on cost, time to operation, but then also proximity to our target workforce demographic. And I use Esri's tapestry segmentation to determine who these people are and whether or not they're the people that we're targeting for employment. So I've used some spatial analysis to come up with 2 different sites, both of which fall within our budget of around $25 to $30 million. They can hold between 850 and 1,000 employees, and they'll be ready in about 6 to 8 months to compensate for the future growth. So with that said, I'm going to hand it back over to John for executive review.
Wow, right? A fantastic set of options, and it was amazing how quickly Ian could deliver those back to us. I can now go back to the executive board, deliver these options really quickly, and it's going to obviously dramatically improve the speed at which we can make a decision. It's important to note that not only are we saving time and money by doing this, right? But we're helping to target that top talent. We're helping to retain this talent. We're helping to increase the speed at which we're able to bring our products and services to market. They're all tied together. In a nutshell, it's truly transforming our business. The other thing is we're also in a great position now that we're using both ArcGIS and a location strategy, okay, to look at other technologies that are continuously put in front of us. I mean, we get hit every week with sensor, monitor, IoT types of technologies. And sometimes we wonder, how are we going to integrate all this technology and have it not go out of fashion, be deprecated within the next 6 months to a year? We've found that having a location platform grounds that and helps us scale easily into the future. Okay, stepping out of role. That was our journey. Okay, that was a hero's journey to the life of real estate and workplace services. You're probably wondering, how can I implement a location strategy for property and facilities management? Several things to note. Number 1, you want to focus your GIS professionals. You may have them, you may not. They may have certain skill sets, right? But the key thing is you can take serious advantage in your organization of working with GIS science, GIS technology. It's actually going to be a foundation for improving that speed of business. And the key too is this, for a lot of us, we got to move beyond paper. We got to move beyond design files. We need to get into a place where we have a system that is one of insight, one that's providing immediate insight. The other thing that we want to immediately do is know that, or provide, are apps. Folks want these apps that help them make a decision quickly, right? So apps anytime, anywhere, on any device. We want to have a destination. Make it easy for the folks in your organization to grab the app they need at the time and the place that they need it. And the last thing is simply this. Sit down with your professionals or sit down and start making maps, right? These maps can prove fundamentally instrumental in your business, right? So whether it's the type of maps and apps that Ian, our strategic planner, was providing, whether it's the types of maps and apps that we were delivering to Joe and the workforce, right? Or even our complete workforce for navigating our campus, or whether the tools that we were using as executives and also, again, in strategic planning. We want to improve performance. We want to discover new opportunities. We want to be able to have different alternatives. Finally, here's the good news. When you have the ArcGIS platform, you only need 3 things to do this: ArcGIS Desktop or Pro, Server, and ArcGIS Online or Portal. That's all you need. Those are the key ingredients. The other thing you need, and I'll leave you with this, not only can you get started today, but the templates and the tools and the things that I just showed you to help you complete this process are available not only at Esri's 3D Showcase, where the facilities team is anchored, but also with our partner network. And our partner network that's been building these types of solutions for over a decade, as well as the new partners that are introducing a lot of these new technologies, except they understood that it needed to be grounded in ArcGIS. And you can see a number of those: GIS Inc., Penbay, OSI, RK, that's just to name a few. And with that, we thank you for joining us this afternoon, and we hope this has been beneficial to your business. Thank you very much.